Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Today we are going to discuss why men batter women. Is it something they are taught? Does it make them feel in control? We are going to answer these questions and many more. Join us. Lizzie, why do you think men abuse women, both mentally and physically? I believe they do this because they are insecure, or maybe they have some sort of mental problem. I have to agree with you on those points. They must have some type of sickness to even think about hurting another human being. Let's hear the reason why men abuse women, from a man's point of view. Dave, you have counseled men from various institutions, including jail. In your professional experiences, what are some of the reasons men abuse women?
A lot of people do not understand that abusers want to have power over their victims. This is because they don't feel that they have personal power regardless of worldly success. To them, communication is a win-lose game.
So, are you saying there is some sort of character flaw in abusers?
What I am saying is abusers are insecure, needy, jealous, verbally abusive, and possessive.
Wow. That sounds like a lot of baggage.
Lisa, we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Dave, we're going to look into this topic more in depth. We have Carla Downing here to give us insight on the belief system of the abuser. Carla, can you tell the audience what the abuser believes?
I want to talk to you today about abuse, the belief system that drives the abuser. The abuser has to have power in the relationship because abuse is all about power. It's about having this one-upmanship or power over the victim. So the abuser is always needing to maintain that power. And then that works out like this in the relationship because there's three elements of abuse. The first one is control. The abuser uses the power to control the victim, to make the abuse victim do what the abuser wants. When the victim does not do what the abuser wants, the abuser will punish using any type of punishment. It could be withdrawal, it could be taking money away, it could be silent treatment, it could be taking away an outing or a dinner invitation or something. It could be withholding participation, it could be calling names, it could be harsh criticism. Any type of punishment that hurts and that bothers the victim can be used. And then when the victim complains, that's not fair, I didn't like that, I don't think that's right, the abuser will disregard the victim's feelings, desires, and needs. So this power in the relationship is constantly the battle that the abuser is trying to fight. And the problem is the abuse victim looks at this relationship and thinks this is a relationship with equal power. We both have rights, we both have feelings, we both have opinions, we both have needs. And so the abuse victim will continually try to explain to the abuser what she feels, what's going on, what isn't right, how the abuse hurt, and not understanding that the abuser doesn't really care, because to resolve problems in the relationship would mean that there's equal power. To work things out and listen to the victim would mean that there is equal concern, equal rights, equal humanity, equal needs, and the abuser does not believe that. The abuser believes that he has a right, and I'm saying he because the majority of the time, but not all of the time, abuse in relationships will come from men. But women can be abusive, and it is very difficult for a man to be honest about the fact that abuse is occurring in the relationship. But women can be abusive. Just for simplicity, I'm going to use the word he, so I don't have to go back and forth with he, she pronouns. It gets very annoying. But the abuser believes that he has the right to have his needs met, the right to special treatment, the right to demand that whatever he needs in that moment is done. And what's really confusing to the victim at times is that she might even do exactly what the abuser demands, and yet the abuser may still get mad. Plus, the abuse is inconsistent. You could do the same thing 10 times, and only one time will that elicit an abusive reaction. And part of this is because, again, with the power that's working in the relationship, the abuser wants to keep the abuse victim off balance. Off balance means not really knowing what's going on. Instead of having this clear understanding of the dynamics in the relationship, the abuser will keep the victim second guessing and feeling almost as if it's like that term gaslighting. Am I crazy? I do this 10 times and only one time in the middle does that cause this person to react this way. And then I can, to even top it off, it might be exactly what the abuser asked me to do. So if that happens, you begin to question yourself and think, wow, what's going on? You try to figure it out. Anything that we're involved with in life and, a situation, relationship, we try to figure out the dynamics. We try to figure out the rules, figure out how to navigate it. And if you've got somebody who's abusive, it hurts. So you're going to be figuring out how not to make that abuse happen. And if going to the abuser and complaining means that you just get nothing but disregarded, then you're going to try to figure out within yourself, how can I manipulate, not in a negative way, but manipulate and manage myself in this relationship to where I am not abused. And it becomes very difficult and very confusing because the power that the abuser uses in the relationship is literally used to keep the victim off balance. The other thing that the abuser believes is that the abuse is justified. Justified meaning that it's what needs to be done. It might even be said, you need to be trained as a child, or you need to be disciplined, or you need to be taught that isn't right. I need to teach you. Those are all ways of expressing that belief that the abuser has a right to control the victim.
Wow. Carla, that was great. You answered a bundle of questions I had. And I'm sure you cleared up a lot of questions for our audience.
Yes, Carla, that was a great presentation. It was very informative.
Thank you, Dave, for being a guest on Let's Talk About It.
My pleasure, Lisa.
Lizzie, did Carla clear up your questions about abusive men? Yes, she did. Great. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. Goodbye. To learn more about batterers prevention and intervention, go to lindamcqueen.org.